covering news where you live. This is 5 News.
Well, thank you for joining us here for the latest news and weather where you live. I'm Joe Ellison.
And I'm Tiffany Lee. A new nonprofit is open in Fayetteville, a dyslexia center.
Yeah, the Nelm Center helps students with dyslexia and trains teachers to do the same. Along with the therapy and teacher training, it offers classes and workshops to help the community understand what dyslexia is
and what accommodations children need. The center's director, Pam Henley, says that the therapy sessions train kids to break down language, learning to decode words while also encouraging them, which she says is just as important.
Now, part of that includes an inspirational wall in the center with pictures of successful people who had dyslexia and were able to give back to their communities. If you live in the Fort Smith area, you'll be hearing that noise of fighter jets. There are 8 F-35s with the 33rd Fighter Wing out of Florida training at the 188.
It's all part of mandatory training for F-35 pilot qualification. Now, these training runs, they'll last through the next 10 days.
All right, now let's get a check of your weather with meteorologist Zach Scott. And Zach, it looks like things may start to heat back up.
Yeah, they're heating back up for us. We had one more nice morning here where we had some 40s and 50s. We're bumping the heat up a little bit more. 70s Saturday, Sunday, low 80s Monday. We're going low to mid 80s, Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley as we get into your Tuesday. Tuesday, another day. This is the last day where the air remains dry by tomorrow morning. So heading into Wednesday, we can already see changes taking place. More moisture coming in, doesn't cool off as much as the drier air mass has been doing the last few days. So instead of 40s and 50s, we'll have 50s and 60s scattered around. Also, we're tracking Tropical Storm Francine as we go through the day Tuesday, likely upgrading to a Category 1 hurricane. Potential for a Category 2 still in play here as it makes landfall in Louisiana. Data really coming together here, doing a great job and focusing in on bringing the center of the storm around the Mississippi River. What you need to know here is that the greatest impacts will be in the delta of Arkansas, so the eastern half. There's always a very sharp gradient of rain to no rain on the western side. That's where we're going to be. Still, though, at this point, could we get some scattered showers? Absolutely. We're going to watch that. If the center of the storm comes any further more to the west into eastern Arkansas, that would give us better chances in 5 country. We'll keep you updated over the next couple days.
All right, thanks for that, Zach. Well, the Fayetteville Planning Commission is looking to take another step in making areas around College Avenue more accessible for housing and safer for cyclists and pedestrians.
The Planning Commission voted on Monday to rezone property along the avenue for mixed-use developments. City leaders say most of the land is not zoned for housing, which is something that they say Fayetteville needs as they recently declared a housing crisis. They're also trying to bring housing and commercial use together in the same district and on the same property and bring buildings closer to the street.
Most people who spoke in a public hearing were for the rezone, but they had questions about how it would impact their property. Ultimately, the City Council will make the final decision on if they want to rezone the properties. Kohler Mountain Bike Preserve is fully reopened in Bentonville after the Memorial Day storms caused quite a bit of damage.
5 News reporter Rachel Williams shows us what went into that cleanup.
The Kohler Mountain Bike Preserve in Bentonville is back to full operation after closing some trails for over 3 months.
Pretty much day after the storm, we closed not only all 20 miles of trail, but we closed just even our greenway and all of our parking lots. And so we first got those open, the parking lots open, we got the greenway back open, so basically the coffee shop could reopen. Then we got our campground reopened, so people didn't have to cancel their trips. Then little by little, basically just expanded outwards into the woods, opening one trail at a time.
Nate Renner is the trail crew lead at the preserve, and for the past few months, his crew have been working around the clock to reopen the trails, but they didn't do it alone.
We also had a ton of volunteer help, people from out of state even helping us, some contractors. It's been quite the effort. And then we've had some volunteer days where 200 plus people came out here just willing to help. Knowing how much the community loves this place kind of lit a fire in us to get it back to its former glory as quick as possible.
Renner says the repairs were one of their biggest challenges to date.
When these trees fall, they take some of the trail with it, and there's a huge just root ball hole in the center of where our trail used to be. So bringing that back to its former glory, restoring some of the hillsides, that was probably some of the biggest work went into that.
If you're taking a stroll or mountain biking, you may still see fallen trees. Trail crews are still working to clean that up. But for now, the bike preserve is shifting its focus to cosmetic repairs.
the trail crews kind of transitioning now to some upgrades, even some new features, some new lines. You know, some of the damage was so detrimental that we've just kind of, it's opened the door for us to kind of innovate now and kind of upgrade in that way.
In Bentonville, covering news where you live, Rachel Williams, 5 News.
Well, thank you for joining us here for the latest news where you live.
Yeah, those are some of your top headlines. Have a great day.